Thank you for joining me for another Quick Hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. With me today, I have Hendry. He's the owner of Elevated Elements, where he helps businesses upgrade their lighting correctly the first time to reduce their electrical bill and get the best ROI. I have Dr. Cole Galloway. He's a recovering academic working in social justice and disability, primarily with babies, as the founder of Go Baby Go. And I have Dr. Rhonda Bompensa-Zimmerman. She's a professor of Grand Canyon University, as well as the Substance Use Response Coordinator at the Maricopa County Department of Public Health. The question I have for you, how do you judge if you're making a difference? Ian, what do you think?
I don't know. I'll start with saying I don't know if you need to be able to see it or judge it to begin with. I mean, your impact on what you're doing could start in one spot in your present moment with one person, and there may not be any physical vision of it at the moment, but it could impact something 10 minutes a day down the line that you don't really realize you've impacted. So are you going to see that? Probably not. I don't know. It's hard to say right now.
It is hard, but I agree, Ian. You kind of get a feeling, that somehow you're planting seeds to facilitate some changes. And sometimes we're not even there when the growth actually starts. So I think coming into a situation and being the best advocate for whatever the situation is helpful, and just that knowing that you're trying to help someone grow or change a behavior or whatever the situation is, get them out of a bad situation, just planting some seeds to help them have the courage to maybe make that change at some point in time.
Yeah, I think you just heard two very wise discussions about impact being a process, and there's lots of different factors interacting, and that, sort of celebrate those factors. For me, I have trouble because the process is on the left side of the equation. You push the return and there's an output. And usually the output in my work is so salient. So people getting what they need in terms of basic services that I really discount a lot of the times all the things on the left side of the equation, things that had to go in, the little things, because I tell myself, although those matter, I see a lot of people, especially with kids and disability, they do a lot of process for PR, for media on the left side of the equation, and they never hit the return to see if that really makes a long-term difference. I think you can. I see a lot of impact, but I negate that, which is not healthy. I push the return button and see if the rock has moved. And if it hasn't, in my mind, I'm like, I haven't had any impact. It's worse when we just got off a conversation about disheartening and people talking, realizing that small efforts can be noticed by others and celebrated. When somebody tells me you've had impact and it really is a small thing on the left side of the equation, it actually makes me feel worse, because it's like, no, everybody's doing the small stuff. We need to be the big stuff. And that's not accurate, and it's not healthy.
I have a client who talks about being able to see the lines in the grass. And what he means is that when you mow the grass, you can tell, like, oh, that part's mowed and this part isn't, and I'm making progress. But so many of us now who use our brain, not our brawn, to work, you can't see. Like, I can't see. There's no lines in the grass for the kind of work that I do. So when someone says to me, being able to talk to you has made a difference for me, you're doing this or that or saying this, that was really a aha moment for me. You helped me through this. I have to believe them. I have to trust that. And that means not allowing my brain to discount it and being like, oh yeah, all I did was pick up the phone. No, I was there. And if they said it mattered, then it matters.
I believe with the term impact in who we are as a society nowadays of growth and improvement, even if it's something so small as improving, whether it's our communication ability or like interpersonal skills, being able to just listen for once instead of speaking back all the time every time you hear someone say something, whatever that is, even just doing that, as much as you're not going to see it, it will impact society, because you're one little fragment of this whole thing, but you've changed. So then you are probably going to change that next thread, and so forth.
And I love what Rhonda said about believing that you're here for a reason, and that little thing you're doing, whatever it is going to have that impact down the road. And I think, Cole, the point that you're making, that it's so easy to look at the huge mountain you're trying to move and you're like, I just moved a teaspoon. That's not impressive. But if you hadn't moved that teaspoon, it would still be there.
Yeah, and I do hear you, Robyn, talk about, like, I think Ian and Rhonda are talking about this too. It's like, who's saying it was impactful? Are you noticing that you're impactful? That's very strange for me to go, like, you know what? Had a great day, and
Look at me.
Awesome. I would tell my own 3 sons, that's very important for you to do, sweetie, is tell yourself that you did a good job if you did. I can't do that. But if people that I'm serving, the best thing I can ever hear is, I don't know how you understand us, but you get us. Because I'm not their community. I'm really serving a community I'm not in. When they say, like, you're on the right track, I take it in for a second, it feels amazing, and then I raise the bar.
Move the goalposts. Absolutely.
I can do more. I'm just digging a hole. But it feels so great to be told, that you get another person, and especially if you're not their community.
It's funny though, our response, like a lot of what we do is for that internal feeling of we've done something good, and we always want, like, we want something from something. It's not that we do anything just because. It's not selfless. It's an internal thing. It's not a physical, materialistic thing. But we discredit when we get what we want that we've been looking for this whole time. And to your point, Dr. Cole, it's funny like that way. We're weird beings.
There's so much false bravado in academics about impact. I think that also has really shaped me in that I just am not saying I'm impactful. If the community says it and they're not confused, great.
But see, is that fair? Is it fair to say, oh, you thought I did something good? Oh, you're wrong. You didn't get it right. You're confused. I didn't do a good thing.
Well, in communities where there's a power differential, sometimes people are saying you've done a great job because they're nervous about getting services. I just want really good services, and I'll tell you anything to get those. And impact, as Ian said, it's a big badge now. People talk about it all the time. It's innovation and impact are a big deal.
I did an exercise last year, and I'm wondering if it would pertain to this conversation. So they participated in like a live burial, kind of, sort of. So it was kind of like you wrote your obituary of all the things that you did. And then you actually laid in a casket, and there was a whole ceremony. And for many people, that changed their way their brain was thinking about how they mattered in this world. So I had done something a little bit similar, lower scale, with my team at another organization I was working at. And we did an activity where we actually wrote our obituaries, and we read it aloud. And there were so many emotions, and quite a few people were moved. And it just kind of, again, it shifted their perspective to really appreciate what they bring to the table with the skill sets that they have, and feel a little love and compassion for themselves, which sometimes is really hard.
I was given that assignment in grad school, and I hated it.
That's funny you mentioned this. So I went through a program, and in one of the modules that we did the one day, we get into a group of 6 or 7, and you have to decide. You're on an island together, and there's only 2 boats, enough room in each boat for 1 person each. And amongst the 7 of you or 6 of you, you had to decide or convince the rest of them to allow you to get put onto that boat, or take that boat and go see whatever it was to do. And it was funny that even though you weren't dead, you were not, like, we were physically in that space in a room when we know we're alive, we were still very emotional. Like, there were tears, and you were talking like you were dying, and you were expressing yourself like you were dying, and other people were taking in that as if you were dying. And it was impactful, and I couldn't believe the outcome of that, and the stories you shared, and your being of your real character and other things. It was so crazy and phenomenal.
Mm.
As a theater nerd, I love both those so much. You guys, those are two gifts. I'm going to go back and try both of them.
Well, that is our 10 minutes. I do think what we're saying is that the best way to tell if you're making a difference is listen to the people who you're trying to make a difference for and believe them when they tell you that you're making a difference. So thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to each of you again really soon.